Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Classic Motion Stories, the place where we dive into classic and legendary films. Today, we're going to discuss one of the most famous silent films, both directed by and starring Charlie Chaplin. City Lights is one of Chaplin's most celebrated films, widely praised as one of the best movies of all time. Released in 1931 in black and white, City Lights is a silent film, meaning there is no dialogue throughout. Before we dive into the storyline, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our latest videos. Now, let's get into the story of City Lights, starring the legendary Charlie Chaplin. The story opens with a scene where people gather for the unveiling of a statue representing peace and prosperity at City Hall. After an introductory speech, the statue is revealed to the public. But as it's unveiled, we see that the tramp is actually sleeping on top of the statue. Here, we're treated to a slapstick scene as the tramp tries to climb down and leave the statue. After that, the tramp goes for a walk around the city. Due to heavy traffic and avoiding the police, he tries to hop into a car while crossing the street. When he steps out, he meets a beautiful flower seller who offers him a flower. That's when he realizes that the flower seller is blind. After he buys a flower, the seller mistakenly believes that the tramp left in a car, while in reality, he's still standing right next to her. The tramp pretends he's no longer there while admiring her beauty. But she unknowingly splashes him with water, not realizing he's by her side. At night, the tramp heads to the riverbank to admire the flower he bought earlier and prepares to sleep on a bench. There, he notices a man attempting to end his life by jumping into the river. Instead of successfully helping, the tramp gets entangled in the situation. He accidentally ties himself to the man's stone, which is then thrown into the water, nearly causing him to drown. However, the man ends up saving the tramp. He was saved once again by the man. After this, the man came to his senses and vowed never to attempt suicide again. As a gesture of gratitude, he invited the tramp to his home. It turns out that the man is a millionaire. At the millionaire's house, the tramp was given plenty of drinks and ended up drunk. The millionaire attempted to end his life again, this time with a pistol, but the tramp saved him once more. Grateful, the millionaire invited the tramp to join him for a night of partying in the city. The next morning, the tramp helped the millionaire return home. Along the way, he saw the blind flower seller heading to her usual spot. Borrowing some money from the millionaire, the tramp ran after her, bought all her flowers, and even gave her a ride home in the millionaire's car. After the tramp left, the flower seller told her grandmother about her kind and generous friend, whom she imagined to be wealthy and distinguished. Meanwhile, the tramp returned to the millionaire's luxurious home. But now sober, the millionaire didn't recognize him and ended up kicking him out. However, later that same day, the millionaire got drunk again on the streets. He met the tramp once more and invited him back to his house for another party. But, as before, the cycle repeated itself. The next morning, the now sober millionaire once again failed to recognize the tramp and threw him out. On the street, the tramp once again encounters the flower seller, though not in her usual spot. There, he overhears a conversation between a doctor and her grandmother, revealing that the flower seller is unwell. Determined to help her, the tramp takes a job as a street cleaner. During his lunch break, he visits her apartment to bring groceries, while her grandmother tends to their flower stand. To lift her spirits, he reads her the newspaper, including an article about a doctor capable of curing blindness. Excited by the possibility of regaining her sight, the flower seller expresses her hope to finally see the tramp. However, her words leave the tramp anxious. He fears that once she can see, she'll discover he's not the wealthy benefactor she imagines. While at her apartment, the tramp also notices an eviction notice that her grandmother has hidden. Before leaving, the tramp promises himself to secure enough money to pay their rent and prevent their eviction. However, he is soon fired from his job due to repeated tardiness. Desperate for funds, the tramp encounters a boxer who proposes a fixed fight where they can split the winnings. The boxer promises to go easy on him, but just before the match, he flees to avoid arrest. The tramp is then forced to face a new opponent, a ruthless fighter who shows no mercy. During the bout, the tramp tries his best to dodge punches but ultimately gets knocked out by the ferocious boxer. The tramp encounters the drunken millionaire for the third time and is once again invited to his home. The tramp opens up about the blind flower seller and her struggles, prompting the millionaire to generously give him money for her eye surgery. However, the two are suddenly ambushed by robbers who knock the millionaire unconscious and steal the rest of his money. When the police arrive, they find the tramp holding the cash given by the millionaire. Due to his amnesia from being knocked out, the millionaire doesn't remember giving the money to the tramp, leading to the tramp being accused of theft. Desperate to prove his innocence, the tramp evades the police and manages to deliver the money to the flower seller. He explains that the money is for her rent to prevent eviction and for her surgery. Before leaving, the tramp tells her he will be away for a long time, though in reality he is soon caught and imprisoned by the police. After several months, the tramp is finally released from prison. He immediately heads to the flower seller's usual spot, but she is no longer there. The flower seller, now able to see, has opened a large flower shop with her grandmother. She often thinks of her kind benefactor, imagining him as a wealthy and handsome man. Whenever a well-dressed gentleman enters the shop, she wonders if he might be the one who helped her. One day, the tramp walks past her shop without realizing she is inside. He bends down to pick up a flower from the sidewalk, but is momentarily teased by a group of newspaper boys. When he glances up at the shop window, he notices her watching him. Unknown to the tramp, she has been observing him all along. However, she doesn't realize that he is the mysterious benefactor she has imagined. The tramp freezes for a moment, startled, before offering her a shy smile. She smiles back and offers him a new flower. She even tries to give him some money, but the tramp, embarrassed, attempts to leave. The flower seller follows him to the door, insisting he accept her gift. As she places the money and flower in his hand, she suddenly pauses. Her smile fades into confusion as she touches his hand, feeling his clothes and the collar of his jacket, as realization dawns. Then she asks him a question. The tramp responds. The woman replies again, and then she clasps his hand tightly to her chest. Both of them smile. The end. Even though it's a silent film, this movie is anything but boring. The tramp's antics, played brilliantly by Charlie Chaplin, are incredibly humorous and captivating. The slapstick scenes in this film have inspired countless movies worldwide to this day. Another highlight is the music, which plays seamlessly from the beginning to the end of the film. The soundtrack beautifully sets the mood, making each scene engaging despite the absence of dialogue. If you're new to silent films, City Lights is a fantastic and entertaining place to start. Don't forget to like and share this video. If you enjoyed the film, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so we can continue watching classic movies together on this channel. See you in the next video. Cheers!